All right, we've got South Alabama and Tulane. This is one of the better group of 5 games on Saturday. I'm really looking forward to this. These are 2 really good football teams here. We've got Tulane 6.5-point favorites, 55 the total. The coast is clear now for Tulane in the AAC because you think about UCF's gone, Cincinnati's gone. There's so many really good teams from that conference that have departed, and now the coast is clear here for Tulane to really, really start to dominate the AAC. And, of course, what an outstanding job it was last year winning the AAC, upsetting teams like Cincinnati, UCF, and others to win the conference. They bring back Michael Pratt, who is probably going to be one of the best group of 5 quarterbacks in the country this year, maybe even be one of the best quarterbacks in the country, period, this year. That's how good that kid is at quarterback for Tulane. The offense should be fine when you look at what they've got back there. The defensive side of the football, that's really where Tulane took a huge stride forward last year in their big bounce-back turnaround season, one of the biggest single-season turnarounds in recent college football when they won, 2 games or 3 games 2 years ago. And then last year, they win the AAC, and then they end up going to the Cotton Bowl, and they beat USC in the Cotton Bowl, that huge upset. So an incredible, magical year. And I was along for the ride, and I think you were too, Conor. A lot of Tulane bets for the both of us last year. Now the question is, are they still going to have that value? Everybody knows they're good now. They're coming off that great season. Is the point spread value still going to be there? And I like South Alabama quite a bit. I'm a big fan of this team coming into this season. I think they got every opportunity to win the Sun Belt, go over their win total. I like the job that their head coach Womack's doing with the program. They're getting better. They've got experience in the quarterback spot with Carter Bradley, the Toledo transfer, and Desmond Trotter. Both of them are back this year. Whoever they go with, is a capable quarterback. Damian Webb at running back, good receivers. I think the defense was very good last year. This is definitely a South Alabama team I like a lot. Obviously, it's a Tulane team I like a lot. So this is a really tough game to choose a side for me in this one. Probably a game I'll just be watching rather than betting. Less than 7, I lean Tulane. Probably if this was above 7, I'd lean South Alabama. It's really that kind of game for me. What do you think, Conor?
It is. This is one of the games that I'm excited on this week 1. Both teams, I bet a ton last year, and I like them again. You mentioned Pratt is back for Tulane. Just had a crazy year last year. I think they're going to be good again with Fritz, but I'm a little bit higher on South Alabama. I think they're pretty loaded. I love the defense. You mentioned Carter's back, Webb. I think this team could be really, really good, and I think this game's close. You mentioned there are 7s out there. With 7 right now, I'm leaning South Alabama. I think you take those points in what could be a really good football game. That's tight.
Yeah, the Jaguars, South Alabama, their biggest weakness on defense is the secondary. There's a lot of their key production from last year and the pass defense gone, and that worries me a little bit here against, obviously, we know a very able quarterback like Michael Pratt. But still, I think it's a competitive game. I think like I say, this is just one of those at 6.5. I actually would probably prefer South Alabama, but I prefer them at 7 or more. I don't want to take just 6.5 with them. I don't.
Yeah, and does this game get into a bunch of points? Because I think Tulane's defense, they lost a bunch of guys on defense. They kind of stepped up when they needed to, the defense. Kind of bend, don't break last year. So can South Alabama run it on them? And does that we get a bunch of points, or maybe is this a little bit more low scoring and tight, 2017 type game?
Yeah, that's the big question because the one thing, too, keep in mind is people weren't projecting Tulane's defense to be great last year, and they turned into a pretty solid and much improved defense. Will that continue this year is going to be the question. They did lose, significant pieces, on that side of the football, as you mentioned. Will they be able to still be able to withstand that when you look at it? But very, very interesting. Some of their top tacklers last year are gone. The skill positions, they lose a few, but still a really good team. And I trust Willie Fritz, who's done. And you see the recruiting rankings too. Tulane has really improved and stepped things up with recruiting the last few years. And it's going to even be better now after that terrific season they had last year.